just a quick video. A few people recently have said to me they've bought branding irons off me. Any tips, any advice for how to use them? I hadn't thought of this. I thought I was going to maybe stick a leaflet in with each one with some tips, but what a daft idea. Let's save some paper and do a quick video. So this is an iron I've just finished, and so a few guidance tips with using my irons is there's a little cat's head you can see stamped on there. Cat's head is indicating that if you put the cat's head up, the stamp will be up the right way. So you're not all going to have a fancy heating stand like mine here. Very fancy. You're not all going to have one of these. All I literally do, rest it on some wood. I do need to get around to actually making a proper stand, and I was going to make a cheap one to offer people as well who buy my brand. And if you're interested in a brand, look through the Instagram pictures. I've made lots of brands so far, and I'm always interested in making more, so get in touch and I'll give you a price for your brand. We have the blowtorch style with the wooden handle, and then there's also the electric iron style. It's a 200 watt electric iron. Very similar use really. The only difference you need to do is generally with the electric iron it will take quite a lot longer to heat up. You're probably going to be looking at, depends on the size of the brand that you've got on the end of the electric iron, I'd say you're looking at twice as long to heat up the electric. I'd say anything up to sort of 8 minutes to heat one of these up and get that block up to full temperature. The people also say to me, because these are dearer, because you need to pay for the heated handle element, people say to me, well, what's the advantage of the electric over the blowtorch style? Even though that's my electric one for my logo, I actually now prefer the blowtorch style. I think they heat up faster, probably get hotter if you leave it on for long enough, obviously, and I think they brand better. I certainly think if you're doing sort of 1 to 10 items, maybe if you're not doing massive batch work, I'd go with a blowtorch style. If you've got hundreds, maybe even 50 to do in one go, a batch, then the electric probably is the way to go because it will hold its temperature better. Saying that, you can do sort of, I don't know, just out of rough guess, five or more brands before you need to give it any heat from the blowtorch, and then you've only got to top it up. It doesn't need fully reheating again after that. So I think I prefer the blowtorch style. Obviously the only disadvantage is that you have to buy or have a blowtorch. So this is just a cheap one that I bought off eBay. This was about £15. Already the knob has broken off and the self-igniter element has worn out. That would actually probably be from leaving it too close, and I've burnt the end. But these was about £15 off Amazon. You got 4 spare bottles of gas. This is only the second one and there's still loads left in there. This works well and I say for sort of £15. I did originally start trying to use a little tiny chef's torch, which was what I used for my resin work. It's just a little tiny butane chef torch. I can't place my hands on it at this moment. It was nowhere near good enough. It just didn't put out enough heat, didn't get the brands hot enough, until I switched to this and realised what a difference it makes. So all we're going to do is, once again the knobs broke off, so I just need to use a pair of pliers. Nice blowtorch. I just leave mine, probably don't need that bit of wood there. I'll just leave mine sitting there. I will pause it and come back. You can basically tell when it's almost ready because the colour of the brass block will completely change. Where it's obviously a light goldy brass colour at the moment, once it's up to the sort of temperature you're looking for, it will go a sort of dark orange colour, a dark ambery colour, but you're only looking at probably 3 to 4 minutes. Like I say, it all depends what size block you have on the end of your brand. This is a 50 by 50 block, and this will probably take 3 minutes, so I'll just pause it for a second and come back when it's the right colour. So literally about 1 minute has passed since I put that on. If you look at it, you can see the colour of the brass really darkening up, getting a sort of deep red orange in it. To be honest with you, that's probably almost up to temperature already, so it doesn't need much more than that. If you get it too hot, it will scorch. It will scorch the wood if you hold it on there for too long. So that's literally been about 1 minute to 1.5 minutes since I pushed pause, and that probably is actually ready to go. You'll be waiting a lot longer than that for an electric version, which is their only downside, well, and the slight higher cost for the electric. So that's virtually ready. So what I always recommend you do is never test that straight on the job that you've been made. If you've made a nice job, don't stick that straight on there. Just pull that away a little bit. Get a scrap bit of wood. Ideally use the same wood that you're actually going to be branding on, because different woods work different, they behave different with the brands. Some will brand a lot quicker, especially hardwoods. You get a really hard bit of oak, you'll have to hold it on there longer for it to get a good brand. So I'm just going to test it on this piece of scrap ply. That's definitely hot enough now. I can probably move that away for a second. Now, if you've got a really detailed brand, especially like this one here, this was fibre lasered to get the tiny writing at the bottom. Normally they'd be a little bit deeper than that when I CNC them. Good idea to do is just spray a cloth with a bit of water. Do this on your test piece and on your actual job. Just give the wood a light dampen, and what that does is it stops all the material around the area that you want to brand. So all the brass that's around the logo, by dampening the wood, you're going to stop it blackening it. You're going to stop it darkening the wood. So what we'll do is, I don't know if you can see now, that's a lot darker colour, that brass. So that's now good enough and be up to temperature. Turn that off. So then all we're going to do is we're going to get our cat's head facing up. There we go. Generally, rule of thumb, 3 to 4 seconds is generally enough. So you want to get a nice straight downward pressure. Sort of 1, 2, 3. If anything, that's actually, so that's, you can tell that's really hot. That's burning. So you could actually, when you got that, you know, you can go less. So probably 2 seconds. So 1, 2. And you see what this is doing, you see where this is now dried out, that's taking the heat away from around it, so that you get just the brand itself. And if we're going to dry bit, there it is. Just leave that up there. So that was literally, for this was literally, that's very hot. I'm leaving that on a bit of wood and you'll see it'll brand to that in a moment. That was literally 2 to 3 seconds on there. So this one at the top here, it could have done with being a bit damper and held it on too long. And that's kind of the trick you got to get used to. You got to trial and error. Each brand is actually a bit different as well. Trial and error to see how long it takes to get a nice logo without blackening it too much. You could give that a light sand, but on these ones I would literally just leave that and then go straight over the top with your finish. So there you go. That's how to use one of these branding irons. The colour of the brass is what matters. You'll see it's that's how hot it is. It literally will just burn itself. One handy thing to do if you're branding a lot, or with every now and then, just make sure the block is still tight to the bar. before you use it, obviously. I don't want any fines for you burn your hands off. And another usage is sometimes you see they start to get a bit of black charring on the brand. If you just get a good wire brush, just lightly give it a run over with a wire brush, not too heavy, just give it a light run over. It will take all the charring off the metal, and then it's good to go again. So play about with some scrap, that's what you're going to get. Any more questions, drop me a message. If you want a brand making, get in touch. I'll gladly make you a blowtorch or an electric brand, and check out my maker discs, which I'll probably do a video on as well. Thanks for watching. Check out the Instagram, social media, like, share and subscribe, and thank you very much.